Okay, as we enter Thanksgiving week, I was going to catch you up on a few new developments. You see my Longhorn cap and my burnt orange shirt, and I'm, of course, going into the fan transfer portal. I did that a couple of years ago with the TCU Horned Frogs and got them all the way to the finals, but they did get beat by Georgia. I think there's bigger and better things for the Longhorns. I considered Indiana, but I thought, well, I'll just go with the Longhorns, team I love to hate. Um, Other things that's maybe going on that or might be of interest. I had a podcast, and it was about basically talking about you know quitting to worry about Trump and love the bomb, and that kind of got knocked out. It was kind of funny because as much things that goes on in the world these days, uh, you know, uh, what happened there was just uh, kind of crazy because I had, uh, there was a thing there with uh, Google and their algorithm, which had to do with uh, political and advertising. And I don't know. I've kind of seen over the years that uh, the Klan can put up billboards and signs, and Arvest Bank can loan money for their land, which is again the Waltons, Jim Walton, and no questions are asked. And then you you worry about putting up a racist sign, and people say, well, they have rights, don't they? And then the minute you do something like this, you feel like who's going to be policing what you say? This is pretty just a situation where I wanted to talk about uh, neurological and delusional and Parkinson's, which I think it's pretty certain that Trump has that. Uh, he won't take the 4 hour battery test. He takes the little bedside test. It really doesn't prove anything. I show that in uh, the other podcasts. But I'm going to continue on in this podcast and talk about people I met, a particular person that his mother died of Parkinson's, and all the efforts he made to be a caregiver for her, and all the details here. I did an interview with him, and I think it's interesting. I wanted to include that interview and hit on a few of those facts. And again, it'll be something that people can see. And as we approach 2025, when the national plan to end Parkinson Act is implemented, uh, where there's going to be trillions wasted, or whether there's actually going to be money well used. And again, my podcast is about caregivers and people who have concern and ways to do that without uh, spending a lot of excess money. And again, I think one of the funny things about the budget being cut 2 trillion, and then we're entering into a year like we are in 2025, is I get a lot of things, and I don't watch any of the news, particularly the parts where it's commentary. I don't watch Fox. Fox paid $1 billion a few years ago to keep the fair and balanced title because they weren't, and that was all Rupert Murphrott, and he kind of um, cleaned out a few people, and then today I get things from I don't know, CNN or MSNBC, and I don't watch those programs. I've been focusing on regular news, and I get what I want off the internet, and I've even canceled a lot of what I consider mainstream media. I kind of stayed with them for a while, but I just recently canceled my subscription to the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I found it was getting to be worthless and just a $39 a month expense, and any other publication that I paid for, I'm not paying for those any longer. Again, my podcast is free, and it probably has better information than they have, and it's probably more up to date. Somebody sent me a text or something and said they didn't know I was delusional, and I said, well, the test I took, which is about a 4-hour battery of tests back in 2012, said specifically I was, and gave a lot of other issues. It led to a lot of things as far as discord in a marriage, but the actual physical, I guess, determination was in 2016, and that was by Dr. Vermani at UMS. So I'll leave it at that, but I can tell you, uh, I saw Brett Favre before he admitted to having it. And again, people don't want to admit it because then it puts them into a position where they might be stonewalled or they might be put out and ridiculed. And Trump will not admit it unless somebody forces a hand and he takes the battery of tests, and then he's going to fail it. And then uh, that's the time when the VP will step in. And he's been missing in action for a lot of reasons, but he's kind of joined Ivanka and Melania and being outside the core group there with Trump while he's brought on uh, Musk and other of his handlers to make decisions. And in the past, the VP has been always directly involved in the decision making of cabinet members. And you can tell in this case, he was made a sacrificial lamb to go out and try to save the Attorney General's, nomination, which I'm getting a bulletin now that he's withdrawing, which he obviously saw that they weren't going to just let it happen. And there may be some other people that are in the same boat. A lot of people that I know. I was once a member of the CIA, and the qualifications of being a top secret, and again, code word at that time because I had to work on a mainframe, which had all the main information in it, different than today, as it could be segmented. But none of them, probably most of his cabinet wouldn't pass it because they've done so many things where they be subject to bribery, and no telling, the Russians and China be going crazy because they already got enough things on Trump, money they've loaned him, and his only way out is eventually to be, and I hate to tell you this, but he's going to have his finger on the trigger of nuclear war, and he doesn't mind pulling that trigger. I mean, he doesn't care about anybody but himself, and he sees he's losing the battle, he'll be out of here, and he may take a lot of people with him. But that's just another case. So we'll get back to what we're doing now, and then we'll deal with that at some point if we can ever make sure that it gets past the algorithms.